cut some shit. This episode may be a bit boring. It's going to be a lot of just time lapses and montage and some music, but this is one of those things that has to be done, and this is where it'll make a big difference. If you take your time, do it right, people are going to notice, and the car's going to look good. If you kind of just rush and leave, edges sharp, and you don't drill spot welds out all the way, or you go hammering everything out of it, it's gonna look like shit. So this is the tedious part of building a race car. Once we get all this stuff out, we can start working on the two front ends, start working on the roll cage, do the parachute mount, do all the fun stuff. The stuff that'll actually be fun to watch. But got to get this stuff done first, so we're going to get to it. There's a lot of weight to come out, and it's very tedious work. As you can see, I started right here, drilling out more spot welds. This sucks. This is going to take forever, but it's just one of those things you got to put some music on and try to enjoy yourself. But everything like these brackets, all this stuff will come up. This gets torn off. I'm going to take the plasma cutter, run along the outside, cut this whole thing out pretty quickly. And then I'm also got to remove brackets, like this. And then I'm also thinking about taking the plasma cutter up to the B pillars and taking this out because these nuts and stuff back in here, there's some pretty good weight to them. Also going to be wiring out or wire wheeling out all the seam sealer, which this is a disastrous mess, kind of like the windshield sealant, or the adhesive that holds the windshield in. So that's one of those things that once you get all the brackets cut out, just do it all at once and then clean up at once because it's going to get everywhere. Lastly, there's another firewall in here, so if you can see up at the top by the seam sealer, there's another sheet metal panel on the firewall. This whole thing comes out, and I'm going to be taking the dash bars or the dash bar mounting points out, as well as pretty much everything on the dash. Because the new steering column is going to go off of the roll cage. That's going to be the new dash bar, and then I'm doing a floor mounted pedal setup just because I'm not going to be using the OEM pedals. So it's a lot to do. Back to the back of the car. Since it's street class, the rules state that I have to keep the OEM floor pan, the OEM frame rails. The windows need glass and some other technical stuff. So I can't cut the floor pan out, but what I can do is you can come through here, cut all this like rear body panel out. There's a lot of weight up in here, so let me show you this one. So this is the other car that we've been working on. Okay, just make your cut there, cut all the way around. You can actually take all that stuff out too, as long as you just make a brace for the rear bumper. The rear bumper goes right here, but if it doesn't have something to bolt onto, it kind of just flaps as soon as you start getting some speed. that is going to be it for this episode this week. We got most of the weight cut out of the car. It took me a little bit longer than expected because my son decided to stick a bead up his nose and we spent the night in the hospital. Well, not all night, but they had to sedate. It was ugly. It was not cool. Don't stick beads in your nose. So I'm a little bit behind schedule, but that's okay because the fun stuff is coming up. Next episode, we're going to be building the parachute mount. We're going to be welding it to the rear frame, and I'm going to show you why you don't want to do a bolt-in kit. So if you like what you saw, go ahead and click the subscribe button below. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and we'll see you next week.